Thundarr, and welcome to Sports Storm. Today I will be continuing the NBA Scouting Report series with Providence point guard Kris Dunn. He is only he is one of the older players in this class at 22 years old. Stands at 6 foot and 4 inches, 205 pounds, a wingspan of 6 foot 9.5 inches, along with a standing reach of 8 foot 4. So now let's look at some of his per game stats from last season at Providence as a junior. He got 33 minutes per game, 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.5 steals, half a block, and 3.5 turnovers. Now some of his percentages from last season. He shot around 45% from the field, 37% from 3, and about 70% from the free throw line. So just pretty around average numbers for shooting. Not the best, but not terrible. Let's look at some of Kris Dunn's main strengths. I see there are a lot of big strengths for Kris Dunn. He has a huge upside and one of the safer bets in this draft class. I really love Kris Dunn's explosiveness. He can really get by his defender and drive to the basket, get an easy bucket. So that's really a huge thing that you need in the NBA, is to be able to blow by your defender on offense. Another main strength for Kris Dunn is how well he runs the pick and roll. He showed it a lot with Ben Bentel. Ben Bentel as a power forward, and they ran the pick and roll a lot at Providence, and I think he's going to be able to utilize that in the NBA to succeed in modern NBA offenses. Another main strength is passing. He did get 6 assists per game and 3.5 turnovers, but again, he was the main ball handler for Providence, so he's bound to get some turnovers, and he's going to make some young player mistakes. But he definitely is one of the best, if not the best, passer in this draft class, and I think he's going to improve on that as he gets into the NBA. Another main strength for Kris Dunn is perimeter defense. He had 2.5 steals, which is some of the highest of the players I've done so far. And obviously, I think really his defense and explosiveness and pick and roll offense are really what makes him the best point guard in this draft class by a landslide. And also, another big strength is his leadership. He took Providence from really nowhere and turned them into a consistent tournament team. So I think leadership is definitely something you have to take into account when you're thinking about drafting Kris Dunn. All right, now on to the weaknesses of Kris Dunn. I wouldn't really call this a major weakness, but his jump shooting isn't the best. He only shoots 45% from the field, which is just about average. But if he can definitely improve on that, he'll be. I could see him being a top 10 NBA point guard if he can improve his shooting. And also, minor weakness is his injury history. A few years ago, he injured his shoulder, but it sounds like that's going to be good to go. So no major weaknesses for Kris Dunn. Now onto my career stat projection for Kris Dunn. I see him getting around 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. I know these numbers may be a bit high, but I do see him being one of the better players coming out of this draft class. And now on to the good teams and bad teams. Now some of the good teams in his range of being drafted. I said the Minnesota Timberwolves, who really need a primary ball handler. Ricky Rubio's not getting it done for them. He can develop with that young core of Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Another good team would be the New Orleans Pelicans with superstar Anthony Davis. They could run the pick and roll there. And also the Sacramento Kings. Something tells me that Rajon Rondo is going to leave in free agency, and I'm not sure what they're going to do with Darren Collison, but they need a new point guard to develop with DeMarcus Cousins and not keep getting these veterans. They need to build, and I think Kris Dunn would be the perfect fit. And now on to some bad teams for Kris Dunn. I see the Boston Celtics, who already have a primary ball handler in Isaiah Thomas. The Phoenix Suns, who already have Brandon Knight and Eric Bledsoe, along with the Denver Nuggets, who just drafted their franchise point guard in Emmanuel Mudiay in last year's draft. Now on to my NBA comparison for Kris Dunn. Now, with all of his strengths combined, explosiveness, pick and roll, passing, and perimeter defense, I see him as a Reggie Jackson of the Detroit Pistons, and also his clutchness has been shown, just like Reggie Jackson, one of the leading players in points in the fourth quarter of his last season. So I definitely think he will kind of develop into that Reggie Jackson role. He'll definitely lead the team throughout the game. Not sure if he'll really be the main scorer, but he will guide the offense, and I think that's what Reggie Jackson will do. For my overall prediction, I see Kris Dunn as a long-time starting point guard in the NBA. He's obviously a great leader. He's clutch. And also, he has all-star potential or even higher potential if he can get his shooting better, which Reggie Jackson hasn't been able to do yet. But if he is able to develop into a consistent shooter, I could see superstar levels for Kris Dunn. That is it for me today at Sports Storm. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.